A few minutes ago, I recorded my response to the newly released version of Amadeus, and I'm now responding to a comment a couple of days ago asking if, among all the books behind me in this room, I could recommend some books. Well, why not? So, since we've been talking about Amadeus, I've got 4 books about Mozart down from the shelves, which I think are really worth reading. Partly because, as I said in my review of Amadeus, marvellous though it is largely a fictionalised account, certainly of the Mozart-Salieri relationship, which is enormously dramatised. And it's fantastic and fun and everything, but there's much in the film that isn't entirely accurate. So if you want a really good biography, I would strongly recommend the Maynard Solomon Mozart biography, which is in many ways revelatory and gives a very psychologically probing account of Mozart's evolution. And this contrasts rather well with Maynard Solomon. This is the first biography ever written of Mozart by Niemitschek, a Czech biographer. It's a fascinating book because it shows you how Mozart was perceived by his contemporaries. Niemitschek's love of Mozart's music is partly connected to the fact that Mozart was a big hit in Prague, much more so than in his home city of Salzburg or his adopted city of Vienna. But the people of Prague always took Mozart to their hearts. Niemitschek makes a passionate case for Mozart. It's strange to imagine that anyone ever had to make a passionate case for him, but at the time, in the 1790s, Mozart's music was perceived as difficult. And if you think about it, that's not entirely surprising. Mozart's structures, Mozart's harmony, his use of irony, the wonderful hybrid serious comedy elements in his operas, all these things were considered very difficult at the time. So he makes a great case for Mozart. Okay, and then here are 2 other books that I like. When I was growing up, H.C. Robbins Landon was considered a kind of leading authority on Haydn and Mozart. And his book, 1791, Mozart's Last Year, is really worth a read because that book shows you just how insanely overcrowded Mozart's last year was. 1791 was a bizarre year when he was more busy than almost any human being has ever been. And I'm sure that overexertion really led to his early death, because he was just run down and fell prey quite easily to the streptococcal infection that finally finished him off. What a tragedy for humanity.